I'm good.
Good. Well, take your name.
Bring it back over.
We're gonna start here.
Do we need our computers for anything that you know of? There's nothing on SharePoint, right? Okay.
No, nothing on SharePoint. So, okay. So I'm just gonna give you some suggestions, I guess, moving forward. If you look at this sheet here that we handed. Oh, sure. I'll let Steve do the summary first of where we're at.
So just kind of to update you where your original budget that got back in May. There's been some revisions to it. Brian took out the Green Creek upgrade. So right now, what you have in front of you shows us at a deficit of 7.5 million. And Andrew added 110 to that after I printed this. So we're at about 7.6 million. With updated budgets. So at this point, the next pages is just a copy of updated revenue budget, compare and actuals and expense actuals through the first run in June. So at this point, our revenue is 2.4 million over budget. So this is all going to flow into the cash carryover. 2.4 over budget. And we have 3.8 million left to spend through the AP. 800 of that will be the elected salaries and one more payroll. So we have 3 million to spend in the next two AP runs. So that we're in a pretty good position. And I just got road and bridges vouchers, and there's only one for 530,000. Which is less, like there could be more, but it just depends on what they kind of spend. And we still have the rest of June for revenue to come in. We also have 1.04 million left to be reimbursed on the library grant. So that's another, if that gets in before the end of the fiscal year, it'll be part of the cash carryover. If it does not, we will add that $1 million onto the revenue side for our budget. We always have the PILT. If it comes in like it should, that's another 800,000 plus that would go into revenue for next year. So overall, and if we decide, I did some digging and found we have not spent the interest made on ARPA money over the years. So that's sitting at about 1.1 million right now. So that is in the ARPA fund. It is not in the general fund. So it's still sitting in ARPA. So we have that to spend of ARPA funds. We could delegate the 1.2 million that's in building and grounds capital right now budget. We could move that 1.2 out of general into the ARPA, lessening our expense for next year by 1.2 million in the general.
Question, Mr. Chairman. On the ARPA interest, are there any regulations on how that is spent or if it has to be on ARPA? I know these are all general projects, but there is no restrictions.
There was no restriction on any of the earnings off of the 5.6 original
Okay,
ARPA grant or the 12 million.
okay. So we don't have to even report on it.
We do not have to report. We just have to report on the actual grant amounts, what we spent on.
Thank you.
So, and Steve, you mentioned we still have the revenue for the rest of June and the rest of June. Any rough estimate what that could be? Are we talking 1 million?
Probably not 1 million. The treasurer's office did do, they dumped in all the revenue from property taxes. We've got 170.
600.
No, just your regular. that we did, but we had the additional 621 in the revenue reserve for minerals. And we were short about 700, so that dumped in to cover the shortage in property tax collections this year. So
Well, Mr. Chair, what about sales? Is that sales tax, our portion of that, is that?
I do not believe sales tax is dumped in from the time I ran this. So we could have close to 1 million popping into revenue.
There's a lot of tourists in town.
There's 100 and well, sales tax is always a month in arrears. So it'll be from May. We have 170,000 coming for attorney reimbursement
Oh, yeah.
from the state. I've got another 50,000 in like from the city of Cody for the LEC and some rents coming in. So it's close. It's close to that. But
And then, so what I'm hearing basically is depending on the amount of carryover.
Whether we break even or not. Yep.
yeah, the carryover is, right now, if we took the 1.2 for the HVAC and put it to the ARPA, and we've talked about the insurance fund taking the 1 million back, that puts us 5.4 short. And then we've got the 1 million from the library, so we're 4.4. And if we have PILT come in, we're 3.4. And the cash carryovers looks like it's going to be able to cover that deficit at this point.
Say again, the last part?
At this time, the cash carryover looks like it will cover our deficit.
It will.
And Brian did take out Green Creek and he dropped his chip oil by pretty good, by about 500,000 too. So if we had any extra, he's given up quite a bit at this point. That's kind of where we just, we didn't look too great a month ago. But with everything that's happened, and there's a lot of kind of one-timers here that are covering us this year. The insurance, the ARPA interest, we kind of got a little bit, I won't say lucky, but we had some extra funds that are unexpected that are going to cover our shortfall this year.
Mm-hmm. So you understand when Steve says insurance, what we're talking about? Okay, so right now we stand at about April, we stood at 2.5 million in our insurance fund.
Health insurance.
Yeah, health insurance. So we feel comfortable. Our USI, Matt ran the numbers for us. We need about 800,000 to close out if for some reason we decided to go elsewhere for our insurance, to do the run out and everything on the insurance. We would need to make sure that we had at least 800,000. So the committee talked about it briefly, but we've talked about it internally quite a bit and feel that our health insurance could give 1 million back to the general fund and still leave us sitting well in case something happened in the future.
Mr., does that take an action by us?
Yes. Yep. And it doesn't need to be done today. We just kind of got to know where we're standing moving forward. Like, so Steve can put some of these numbers in and we can come up with a better balance.
And just so you know, too, the 7.2% increase in insurance, I do have that in my numbers I gave you.
Right, 191,000.
And I just remember the libraries did not have their cash carryover put in, which is usually about 100,000. So we have a couple other positive adjustments that should hit too.
Then we probably better look at the other expense side, which is the retirement.
Yeah, so the resolution right now reads that the public employee pension plan will pay 18.12, and the law enforcement pension plan, we pay 19.92. So public is going up 1%. And we already pay 0.5, but increasing 1% would cost an employee about $5 for every 1,000 that they make. And then the law enforcement needs to go to 22.60. That would be a 2.68 increase for law enforcement employees at about $18 per $1,000 that they earn. They would be paying. Now, remember, that is their money in the end anyway. If the county ate that, it would be costing about $171,000. 171,413.
You can see it's broken out by
Yeah.
public and on that sheet I gave you.
Public and law enforcement, yeah. So increasing to the 19.12 would cost 58,000, and increasing to the 22.6 would cost 113,000 for a rough total of 171. If the board chooses to pick up that cost. And in our resolution, we stated that the employees from here on out would pick up the cost, but we can always change the resolution. It's totally up to you guys. We did this one in 25.
That resolution?
Yes. And I think the reason we did it in 2025 is that was when law enforcement went up. And so we wanted to be comparatively equal on both sides, because public used to be higher than law enforcement. And so they brought in 25, they brought law enforcement up to 19.92. And right now, the law enforcement pays 0.88 of theirs, and we pay and public pays 0.5.
Mr. Chairman, I think the things that we need to think about here, first off, is income declining. If the property tax things were to change, we would be committed to more dollars out of the county budget if we pick this up. If we leave it to the employees or put it on the employees, they do get it back eventually. When they retire in their retirement. The problem is it does lower their paycheck a little bit by what Colleen said. And so that's an issue in lowering their pay. However, included on this sheet, we also have a discussion about wages. And I don't know if I would want to commit to the county paying the retirement portion when we have no idea what the future income is going to be with the election coming up the way it is, because we're committed to it. If we do that, we can't say, we can lose employees and we can come up with the funds, but I think we need to look at the whole picture as to what might happen. And I also think that it's been a huge benefit. I know I was on Wyoming retirement for 25 years with Northwest Rural Water. And most government entities are not set up quite this way. A lot of them pay much lower percentage of it, and have the employee pay their part as the state has it listed. So I think we've done well by our employees in the past. It's just, what does our future look like and what can we afford to do?
On the average, Mr. Chair, on the average paycheck, how much would they be seeing less of?
So on the public side, there would be $5 less per $1,000 that they're paid.
Okay.
And then on the law enforcement side, it's about $18 an hour, or $18 per 1,000
Per
that they make.
1,000.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's not a huge amount.
not a huge amount. No.
When do we get the numbers on the carryover from the different departments on unspent budget items?
That we should have that ready when we meet again on the 23rd. 23rd is when you'll approve all the last vouchers to be paid. So we'll know,
Have a good idea.
yep, we'll have a really good idea.
Is there usually an average about coming in? Is there a typical year where we might get 3 million back, maybe 4 million?
We've been averaging right around
Or
four-ish.
Carryover, yeah.
Really, Road and Bridge has 1.6 million right now to spend of their budget. They're spending about 600 of it so far, so we could see some more from them. That's the big question is what Road and Bridge spends.
Mr. Chairman, the biggest thing that I think we're not gonna see is I don't, at least to my knowledge, we don't have a lot of things that have been, like a grader that's ordered that isn't here yet.
Right.
Things like that, those have been huge amounts of carryovers in the past because the supply of dump trucks, equipment, things like that. So I'd like to be optimistic, but I don't want to count
Well,
that high. I think it's gonna be below average this year, just based
and
on.
just talking with Andrew through IT, he said he has carryover that
Right.
is gonna be.
But then he just added back in
100.
100.
But on his carryover, his projects are still
Still to do.
on the to-do list, so they're still in next year's budget.
Yeah, most of his is carryover,
Yep.
Okay.
I think, yeah. And then we have that million from the library, that should have all been done and taken care of now, which still would carry over, but if we put it in the revenue budget, we don't get it. I mean, that's out there that shouldn't be, and it's gonna skew things a little bit. If we don't get it, it'll skew things.
Are we still hanging out on anything as far as the sewer lagoon project?
Yeah, there's,
Sewer lagoon project?
I want to say there's about 300-ish thousand left to spend on that in the ARPA account.
Okay.
Yeah. We have the 3.2 that we will need from the library that still needs designated to the LEC.
Okay.
We got one more bill with the library, but we still have about 40,000 of the grant left to spend on that for any little things.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I think the other thing was Trevor's budget. If I'm not wrong, he may have some carryover to like the roof that we didn't do yet. I mean, there's some pretty substantial numbers there, but there's still projects that need to occur. So they're probably in next year's budget, but
Yeah.
at least
He has the 1.2 for the LEC
LEC,
carrying over.
right?
The windows are good.
Hmm?
Windows at the annex.
Windows is
Also
part of it.
on the.
Mhm.
So the really anomalies of our budget this year would be the ARPA interest, the money back from the insurance and what is left over at the library, right? Those would be the three
Three
standout
large ones, yeah. Yep,
differences.
yeah. Three big
Okay.
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those three saved us a lot of money on large, I want to say one-time projects
Mhm.
Yeah.
or lag projects. I would think next year, the next budget we do would have much fewer capital big expenditures in it. I think we've covered about all of the major items.
Especially with the ARPA dollars.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the ARPA interest was a nice bonus.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mr. Chair, backing up a little bit to the retirement, I tend to agree with Commissioner Warfield. I'm being unsure on what's gonna happen in November. I'd hate to commit ourselves and I feel bad a little bit, if we uh, you know, 40, 50 bucks a paycheck less to work now. But we haven't discussed any COLAs yet either.
No, that's right.
So
We don't know.
I'm open for suggestions, there, but I definitely think the insurance retirement needs to be passed on to the employees, the increase.
I think the other thing that goes along with that is the fact that the health insurance is going up by like, what, 7%?
7.2%, and we're picking that up.
We're not
So
talking,
it's not like they're not getting,
Right.
you know, yeah.
We aren't moving.
I see that. Darcy, you might remember this from the insurance, and maybe Hans or Steve. But on that insurance, I'm sorry, retirement.
Mhm.
If they only work for so long, they don't get their money back, do they?
4 years to be fully vested,
They get their.
but they would get
We-
whatever they're putting in.
Yeah.
So, you know, as in the past, the county's always paid 100% of your Wyoming retirement. Most counties, some counties charge the employee, the actual employee side, which is like 9% or about 9 right now, but you would still get that back.
We're just not getting, the county's not get their back. They're not,
The county doesn't get
Yeah.
anything back, nope.
And the employee doesn't get that.
yeah.
No.
What's the count, what's that leaves?
Yeah.
But like the 2.68 for law enforcement, if they left after they started paying that, if they left, they would get that
Right,
back.
yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have to be 4 years invested in order to get that back, or do you automatically get that back if you paid it in?
Law enforcement is different because that is over and above the regular public employee.
Yeah.
I think that law enforcement is theirs. That regardless of.
How many years?
How many-
Yeah. I think
I
so.
think it's true, but I don't think they can draw until they're 60,
Was that right?
60 something.
I don't know.
Or rule of 85, 20 years. They only have to have
Well,
20 years. in
20
it.
years, they get 50%.
You can't draw it, but I believe you can take your money out,
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
what you're
You can
cashed
take a
out.
lump sum
Mhm.
Right.
and it just be whatever that 2%
Right.
is.
Mhm.
2.5. Yeah.
I did have some employees do that from Northwest Rural Water. They'd only been there a year or two and just wrote a letter, Wyoming Retirement, got the portion back that they had put in.
It's about $300.
Yeah, whatever it was. I don't know, but at least it was theirs.
Yeah,
Got it
right.
back.
Yep, it is theirs. Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
And then, of course, we figured the increase if you wanted to do a COLA. One thing about if you do the one step, take into remembrance, one step at 29 cents. Am I saying this right, Steve? But it's way more than that on the higher ended employees.
Your attorney is gonna get 48 cents an hour and your custodian's gonna get 18 cents an hour.
Cause they're great.
If you just do a step,
Rates.
because a grade and step, yeah.
One thing that, Clerk Renner brought up to me was that we did not discuss, I don't know that we want to change anything, but we did not discuss changing anything where we have the deputies tied to the elected officials' wages. They're at a percentage of 85.
I believe, yeah.
85% of the elected officials. So we did not change any of the elected officials other than the county attorney. I think our elected officials, I think all of, well, except maybe Cody Courtmaker, have at least one deputy. I don't know that there's, I know you have two, but
But only one is tied to the 85%.
okay. So it's just first
Just
deputies.
first
that are tied.
deputies.
Okay.
Yep.
So the question is, do we want to leave them there? And I guess then I would ask you, one of our conversations that I forgot to clarify with you was you said something about the raises last year or the year before. Have those first deputies seen anything for raises since the last salaries were set for elected officials 4 years ago?
Last year, remember I came and talked to you, we gave all of them almost 5% increase. That's what brought them to 85%.
They're not 85, they're 80, I believe 83.5 or.
Something like that.
So they weren't up to the percentage that they needed to be? Because we didn't change the elected officials.
And they've always been at 80%.
Oh, okay,
80% for first deputies.
okay.
And we went 4 years without them and the regular employees were getting increases.
Right.
So I came and suggested that we upped all of the first deputies
Mhm.
by that 3 or whatever it ended up
Percent.
being.
We did
Yeah,
3.5%.
3.5%. Is that what it ended up being? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we moved them. So basically they went to 83.5% of the
Okay,
electeds.
so they saw that last year.
Mhm.
So we didn't change anything with the elected official salaries, we said, except the county attorney. So if we move forward with the regular work that we usually do, they will not see, those first deputies will not see an increase in the work that we do, just so we know where we're at.
Yep.
Okay.
So question, if you guys, this is forward, did we ever find that in the?
I have never found anything in past minutes that said the first deputies got paid 80%. I've not found anything. We did some research and was not able to find anything, so I don't know when or where or how that ever came about. Um, yeah, that's a good question.
Because I
Interesting.
went all the way through the handbook and I couldn't find it.
Nope.
And it's not in statute.
Oh,
It's something that, to the. I don't know if it's completely unique to Park County, but. When I was in Hot Springs County, we didn't, wasn't anybody tied to the elected salary down there. And I don't know.
Did you have-
I think some counties do tie it.
Yeah.
Besides us, but I don't think it's all.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it's all of them either. When we look at some of the stuff they send us.
interesting.
So I guess if you want it documented, you might wanna, when we approve the budget on the 15th or the 21st of July, that we make a, resolution or a motion. Yep, yeah. Tying it.
I guess for
whatever.
me, why would we tie our hands to it?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is then over the course of the years, they should have been getting these raises and they never did.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, because of that theory
Mhm.
behind it, I'd say, why would we want to document it?
And then, of course, there could be a time when the first deputy, like the attorneys, the first deputy would make more than the elected.
Happens in Teton County.
Yep.
They're making $50,000 more than the county attorney.
Happens in Park County.
Mhm. It-
Yeah, almost everybody makes more than Brian does
Yeah.
in this county. Yep.
So we couldn't really make it a policy.
You could, but I mean, I don't think. we
Deputies
want to.
have to take a pay cut,
You'd
I
have to.
guess.
You'd have to make it like specific to your different departments. I mean, you could tie the 3 departments on the first floor and this, and 1 department on the second floor together, and then. Your coroner could be something separate, your deputy, your county attorney could be something separate, and the sheriff. So,
Yeah.
Well,
Does he?
I think it's right, though, if we don't do it, because I think that locks them in. And if we don't change the
It does
elected
lock them in
officials,
for the 4 years.
yeah,
Yep.
it locks them in for 4 years. And so if we don't make that statement, if we leave them as, I'm gonna say regular employees, whatever, they're the highest employee under the elected official, I understand that. But then they are not locked in and they'll have the decisions made every year that are affordable from the county and not know that when they are offered the first deputy job, that's fine, go ahead and take it, but you're not seeing a raise for 4 years. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a thought process.
Mhm.
Well, another thought that just popped into my head is why not have a step and grade scale for first and second deputies? So if you've got a first deputy that's been there for 3 terms, should they be making the same as someone that comes in brand new as a first deputy?
Yeah.
Right now they do.
Yep.
So as you have turnover in elected officials, you're paying somebody that doesn't know what they're doing as a first deputy, the same as someone that's been a first deputy for 12 years.
That's, I mean, it's something to look at.
Okay.
But we couldn't find anything.
No.
Shouldn't that first deputy be making more than this one?
Well, they should at least be entitled to the raises that all the other employees get.
Yeah.
They're,
Especially if
you
it's
would-
they're putting in their time in and everything too.
You have a separate step and grade schedule for the first deputies. You don't have to give them the same as you do the
That's true.
other step and grade. You could it could say whatever.
Or colas can be treated.
Mr. Chair.
Mhm.
Annie and I haven't left.
We'll see how this goes.
It's nothing I can find, so Yeah.
All my years,
Not to bring up a problem, but it has been a problem the last few years that I've been here, and that is that I don't think we've had a conversation with Daryl. And the last couple of years, they have walked in at the 99th minute and insisted that they had a program for raises or changes, and we have not heard a word.
Not a word.
reach out to them.
And I think we need to stay on top of that rather than the last minute have to make decisions dealing with their personnel. I know they have a little bit of a different, well, you would know on how they hire and what their promises are.
Mhm.
So,
At least if we could get the cost for what their steps are,
What
I
they
mean,
think.
because according to that department, they're guaranteed.
We lost another one to Cody PD a couple weeks ago.
Hmm. Okay.
Anything else?
So I'm gonna take it that we're leaving the resolution the same. And the employees picking up the rest, correct?
It's not an official decision yet until we get to the budget, but I think that's the way we're leaning.
Well, I think that's the way it is now. So if you do nothing, that's the
Okay.
way it is.
Okay.
That's what the resolution says.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, can the same thing happen then with the health insurance? We'll assume that that million is transferable and help cover the 7% and the rest into the general fund as we work toward the budget? Is that the correct way to say that?
It would just go into revenue.
Right, other than paying the, I mean, it covers the cost of the insurance increase plus
Yes.
funds.
Yes.
Okay,
You could look at that like,
No, go ahead.
you look at it as 800,000 going in as regular
Right.
revenue. It's
Instead of-
200,000 going in to cover the increase.
Cover the increase.
You can look at
right.
$1 million going in and 200,000 coming out of budget.
And depending, I mean, actually, I just did the May reconciliation. We're up to over 2.6 million in there.
Mhm. I saw that.
You could take 1.2 million. You
Right.
could take
Right, you could.
1.3 million.
Yep, you could take 1.2 and balance, I just remember my first year that, we took over 500,000 and that really put a very, very a great hardship on our health insurance policy. So I hate to see it go that low, with, with that respect, but
Colleen, weren't we a lot more in revenue or in total total reserve at that time? And weren't we
Yes.
about $1.5 million?
yes, yeah,
We're about $1.5 million reserve. Obviously, that was 15 years or not 15, 12 years ago.
Yep.
11 years ago. And costs were different.
yep,
Insurance, the cost of the plan was different, the cost of reinsurance was different. The cost of healthcare in
Healthcare.
general
Right.
is different.
Right.
Than it is today, so, $1.3 million to $1.5 million is a good number probably for us to have in there, but you could probably, like Steve said, we just jumped to 2.6, we could probably go down to 2.4 or 1.4. In the and be fine, because Matt said that our ultimate run out on the IBNR, 800. So with that 800 out of that 1.4, you'd still have 700 left to start a plan or whatever you do. That's a nuclear option.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like when Colleen was downstairs in that extension and they had to change insurance companies in the middle of the year. That was.
Remember that?
Something we really need to check in. This is not gonna be popular. But we're the only county that does that stuff for the judges in the court system. And by statute, we're not required to do that. What I'm saying, and what you're thinking, but we have to pay like, you don't have to necessarily pay some of the salaries, some of that. But a lot of the supplies they have in that little slush fund that one of them has can go away. Cause it's required by state law for the state to pay for it.
Are you talking? What, I missed,
Court judge.
District.
oh, yeah, so we could, I mean,
District and circuit.
we don't have circuit in ours. We don't have anything in circuit,
No,
but this
but
district,
But we need to look at that because if I'm not mistaken, they still might have to pay salaries.
We don't-
That's right in the statute, the legislation will pay for that.
and they do. If you look in your.
For salaries?
In
Yeah, we
circuit.
pay no salaries to them, and neither do we to the circuit court. We pay no salaries. Circuit court doesn't even have a budget in our budgets. But district court does, but that's per ad litem, involuntary,
Title 25.
yes, but we have it under the district.
Brian and I had a big, long talk of what we're not responsible.
Right.
And you know, the other thing we're not responsible for is the VIC-WIT program.
Which.
It's always supposed to been self-funded by itself, and now we're paying probably over half.
Which program is that?
VIC-WIT, that's on
one
the
that came up
attorney,
last
if you
year.
look on the attorney budget.
It's
It's going away.
Victim
it's going away.
It's going away.
Big Winston.
It's another group trying to hijack it, but the state says they're not funding it.
That's not final yet, but that's what we've been told. That it's,
So was that?
So then
that-
is the county expected to pick up that then? Because then that puts it at whatever that is. I don't have my budget in front of me.
Mr. Chairman, Brian's been on that for quite a while and worked pretty hard on it for all the years he's been here. So that would be a question for him to find out what information he's received on whether the county has to look at that or not, because he's more in the know of what their thoughts are and what their plans are. But his comments have been that it's being canceled.
And his first paragraph to the AG was not good.
So Mr. Chairman, what? Was that in the budget bill? Is that in the legislature's budget bill that I got cut out?
I don't remember what he said.
I have no idea.
Would've
That's a
had to.
question
Otherwise,
for Brian.
I wanted to put the biennium.
Uh-huh.
I mean, unless it was taken out of the budget.
Well,
I would assume.
I don't know that it's totally going away, but they're gonna take it. I think they're gonna take the money away from the county.
Is that, okay.
Talk to Ryan.
Let me back up.
Ryan.
Is that a federal program or is that a state?
It was both. Part of it was through the Fed, and that was, but see, that's where the issues come is over the years, we've lost the federal funding. And then the state can't pick all that up. So,
Well, they could.
but yeah, they're not picking all that up. So it's come to be more of an expense for the county than, than it ever was when I first started.
We just need to
Nice
clarify
it's
that before.
fully funded.
Yep.
Percent. Now it's,
Maybe 40% funded and we pay 60%.
Maybe we need to get clarification on that with Brian prior
was-
to the 23rd.
Looking here, but I
Okay.
can't see it. Oh, right here. I see where, because we pay,
that's.
oh, that's just their,
Attorney.
that's this, their health insurance and their retirement that we pay. I mean, there's more that we pay, but
It's mainly. just
Didn't
their-
they also up the amount that we receive for the county attorney? Yeah,
that wasn't for this year. That'll be for next
but
year.
it is in next year's budget.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, because I was pretty sure that got raised. Okay,
yes, it did.
For anticipate revenue.
and it should have been in the revenue projection book.
In the CCA. I don't remember seeing it.
I don't think it usually is.
Oh, maybe it is.
Hmm,
I didn't-
okay.
I don't remember seeing it when I looked at it the other day.
Revenue estimate manual.
I think I used to get
Okay.
that number from Bobby. which is Barb.
Okay. No, we
Yeah,
just need to
and
know
this
that
year
that
we-
number's up a little bit.
Yeah, this year we're getting 170, so we should get more than that next year.
It's so much per county
Per-
attorney and assistant attorneys.
Yep.
Right, okay.
And like, One other big thing in the room is the prevention grant.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I can fill you in a little bit on the last 48 hours. The grant was offered again for next year or the next 2 years, however they're setting that up.
2 years.
It was filled out by the people doing it now, Colette, One Health, who are running it, and sent to Public Health. But with the concerns and comments that we've had, because it has to be signed off on by Public Health to be able to go through our budget, which is a little bit strange, but they are not going to sign that. And I have a question about whether the commissioners want to take a look at that. I've had multiple conversations with Colette and the people working on this grant, and the concerns we've had from the county, both Steve and from Public Health, on how this is run, and lack of cooperation from the group doing it, and lack of good information going to the state, so that this grant turns around fairly quickly. I think we've gotten kind of a bad name at the state for what's been happening in this last year to year and a half. So I really wanted us to have an opportunity to talk to Colette, if that's what the commissioners want to do, and find out exactly what they're offering to do in this in the next year or two. I know Kelly's familiar with how this has worked in the past and what the grant should be doing. And whether it is or not is a question. I guess I'd want a little more information on what it's really been doing, because we haven't been seeing it. So I would ask that maybe we call Colette to come in next Tuesday on the agenda and talk about this grant and whether we really want to run it through the county budget or not. And Public Health is not real fond of having to review it either, but we left it a couple years ago. We left it with Public Health to review, because Steve's not going to know what fits a medical situation as far as healthy is Park County, and what you can order for, I don't know, Narcan stuff. I mean, however many posters and things they're doing, how does that fit the grant? That's not something that Steve's familiar with. So he just receives the packet, and then we sit and wait and see if the state received it. The state usually gets it, but then we can wait months, if not longer, for it to be cleaned up in some form or another, back and forth with the group in Powell. And then we get the reimbursement, and then Steve can send them the money. But it's taken forever to track and to chase, so.
Just put in the voucher to pay them, reimburse them for July of 25. In this next run.
Yeah.
July of 25.
Yeah, it's not.
That's how far.
That's
Yeah.
how long it took to get it done.
It's not been good. So anyway, is that something that the commissioners would like to do, to add that to the agenda
I
and
think so.
have Colette or Schaub come in and talk to us about what the plan is?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. And Steve, one thing that you and I talked about that I maybe could be helpful to explain was the grant triggering was some kind of an audit.
Yeah, there,
It triggers a single audit for us.
as we,
Just so they, the rest of the commissioners understand, because it took me a minute to understand it.
so. If we have over 750,000 in federal grants, it triggers a single audit, which is an additional expense to our audit. And with the ARPA, I mean, ARPA has triggered that for the last how many years, and COVID triggered it for years. But once our ARPAs should be gone next year, we should be done with that grant after 26, 27. We don't have that many federal grants out there. And this counts for 380,000 towards that 750, even if it's over 2 years, still counts as an award for 380. So in the next 3, 4, 5 years, if we do this, it could trigger that single audit for us. It'll put us on that edge of yes or no.
And that costs the county money. The county has to pay for that.
Yep.
A tremendous amount? No, probably 5,000, 6,000. maybe,
Yeah.
but-
It's not an absorbent amount of money that we spend to have that done, but
And it's all dependent on federal grants. I mean, we could get some other grant some year that.
Mhm.
for
Right.
5 million, and that's,
And that would trigger it automatically.
we're there anyway, but I mean, I guess it's just a consideration.
Mhm.
going
So
forward.
this is a federal grant operated by the state. Okay,
Yep.
States passed.
States have passed it. Okay.
If the program.
No, go ahead.
If the program is beneficial to the community, then we
Right.
shouldn't be worrying about whether triggers a
Right.
single item. If the program is poorly run and it's a problem, not only having a problem for us to manage, it's gotta be a problem for the pass-through agency as well. That's where I think.
Yeah.
You have to balance whether or not it's worth
So my,
continuing to have it and continuing to manage it on our end.
so Steve, could you clarify for us, have we received any payments in 2026 fiscal year?
Yeah, we have, I believe,
February, March.
Yeah.
I got March and July of 25 yesterday. Think I still have 3 or 4 outstanding payments. left
Months.
to go back to October of 25, I think. I still have.
So, and the problem,
It's not costing us any money because I don't pay it until I get it.
Right.
But that last. I mean, just from my experience with that last submissions they did, the state sent back a list that long of problems with it. Of what they didn't do, and One Health is gonna have to eat about what, 6,000-7,000 in expenses that they spent that don't fit the grant.
Mhm.
So One Health is out quite a bit, and we're paying One Health rent for Wendy over there too. 460 a month.
Per shop. Yeah, Wendy's gone.
She's still getting paid.
I can tell you that Colette told me that Wendy is gone. She's been gone. So
But why are we still paying her out of that
I-
grant then?
Maybe those are old invoices.
could be.
I guess we've only seen through March, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
And
we've
it
only
may have
seen
been
through
just the
March.
last 60 days or so. Okay.
Okay.
Just from what I used to see to what I see now, the packet used to be like that,
Mhm.
and it's like that.
Basically.
and back when we first started it, that's why Regional Care backed out. Partly because Wendy no longer was their employee, so they weren't comfortable running it through theirs.
Right.
But their complaint also was the slow process of
Follow
getting
through.
funds
Right.
back to the place that is actually upping the funds to start with.
Mhm.
They actually canceled their entire prevention operation over there. So that closed out both that grant and 2 other grant people that were working on cancer grants.
Okay.
But yeah, that was part of the deal is they just could not keep fronting what was happening.
Somehow they were losing money on it.
And that's why I'm surprised One Health is okay fronting this stuff and then finding out after the fact that they're not gonna get their money back for some of it.
And,
Those are good questions for next week. Okay.
and Mr. Chair, just Steve, that for the grant, my understanding is the only entity that can pass through is the county, right? Like it can't go through. Could it go through? If it wasn't us, could it go anywhere else?
It's through public health is the issue.
Yeah,
No.
And public health is in
Yes.
yeah.
our,
Cause at first, I think when we very first started, it came through me, the clerk. And I said, I don't know what this is all about or blah. And so we made Bill take it over. And then Bill is,
I think the grant has to go through the county though. And then I thought you guys assigned public health to approve whether or not it was met the conditions of the grant so that Steve didn't have to do that part.
Well, it's interesting then that public health received the grant application, not the county.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
gave it to Colette and them. So
I think it's just the contact people.
maybe.
yeah,
Because originally we were the contact people and we changed it to public
Okay.
health.
Maybe.
But the county is the main entity that it runs through, and
I think part of that's government to government to government.
That's why I'm just wondering if there's another governmental entity that could manage it if it wasn't us. Could the city do it? Could
Minnesota could do it.
Minnesota?
Minnesota's fraud network.
Somalia could do it.
Yeah, I think that just when I look at it, it looks like a lot of administrative inefficiencies. It's creating a lot of inefficiencies to administer.
But to Hans' point, if the program's working.
Yeah.
It's worth the hassles.
But we need to be getting updates on the program
But
then.
if we're just paying salaries for nothing.
She
it's a
hasn't,
Waste of federal money.
She's been in over.
she hasn't been in here for almost 2 years, I bet,
Right.
to give you guys an update. Right? I think the last time we seen her was when we signed up 2 years ago for the actual money again.
Mr. Chairman, when we signed up 2 years ago, it had gone from Cody Regional and Ms. Morris decided to do it on her own.
Yep.
And we agreed to that.
Yep.
And then we ran into some pitfalls of getting things done and getting timely information or work done. I think the work was happening to a point, but we weren't getting any updates again. And then when we started talking about this is a problem, One Health decided to step in and see if they could help out and make this work. So they kind of took over, what would be happening, and we changed the contact people to work through there, kind of with Bill Crampton's thought
Mhm.
process too.
Yep.
So that's where we are today. But yeah, there's been a couple disconnects. But, okay, I'll get with Kelly and we'll see if we can get Colette to come by next week or shop somebody. Okay.
I almost think it needs to be Shab because she needs to kind
I need
of
to
tell
know
us
both of them.
what the program's doing.
I'd like to have both of them.
Yeah.
So that Colette hears the conversation and understands what our concerns are. But, okay,
Okay.
Any other questions going forward?
yeah, do you have any more money?
Well, we're digging.
Just as you guys are looking through the raise potentials. Just remember. Anything is less, SW is less solid waste. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all employees, and then I break, because solid waste does not hit our general budget.
Right.
So the total cost to the general budget for a 50-cent COLA is 217,000. But if you include solid waste, it's 241,000.
Okay.
So as you're looking at that.
And
Question, and you said, you said you haven't got the step and grade from Daryl or the sheriff? Is that?
Right,
Okay,
right.
All right. Well, okay.
And it's not step and grade for everyone. It's the ones that are
So-
being promoted or however they do it down there. Yeah, we haven't gotten anything from him, so that would be really nice to get that on the book, so then we know a little more where we're sitting.
Right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
When you figured these numbers, when it says salaries and benefits, how were you doing the retirement?
Yeah, that's a good question.
At the current levels.
At what it
The
is.
current levels.
Yeah, so the 19 or the 18.12 and the 19.92.
Okay,
And the insurance, well, no, insurance
Okay.
would make a difference. but
okay, so we're not gonna change, okay.
Positively, we did save 39,000 for next year on workers' comp.
Oh, yep, workers' comp went down
Cool,
by 40,000, which is
significant.
significant.
Anything else?
Oh, do you want
Not that I can
recess
think of,
until
guys.
5 o'clock?
So I guess sooner than later, if you guys think about it and want to move that 1.2 for the HVAC to the ARPA interest, that would take a action, I think, to approve that,
Next week?
and the library excess funds,
Oh,
the 3.2.
Okay.
Um,
Mr. Chairman, can we ask him to write up what those numbers would look like? So we can maybe
If you
take
could-
action on it next week?
Mr. Chair, Steve, I'm confused about that part. So can you explain to me again that, because I wrote it down, I don't totally understand. So moving the ARPA dollars to the library or the library to the ARPA? Can you explain that again?
We've designated 3.2 million of ARPA dollars for the PAL library,
Okay,
and we're not going to use it. So we need to redesignate it to the law enforcement HVAC.
oh, okay. I'm with-
We have
okay.
to have commissioner action to
Gotcha.
designate those
Okay.
funds.
Since it was the ARPA money.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, one other thing that I've talked to Steve about, and I think Colleen was standing there, but one of the concerns from a constituent that's been kind of broadly stated was that they do not feel like they were getting adequate information on how ARPA dollars were being spent. They knew the numbers of the ARPA dollars, but we haven't included the form that we see as to where it's been approved, spent, whatever, and totaled out. So I asked if maybe we could add one page to our budget book that kind of gives that scenario of what's been spent on ARPA dollars and where we're at on that. So that they know.
And I guess one of my comments would be, well, if you read the front of the book, the summary, it tells you exactly where we spent ARPA money.
Talking about how much in each place.
And it tells you that in the summary. It's not in numbers, it's in the paragraphs that I've listed out for each department.
Summary, but to
Yeah.
be completely transparent, Hans and I looked at
Yeah.
it. And I'm gonna go back and revise, cause I've changed the authorized amount by where we moved money, like when we had extra, we moved it to the HVAC to the courthouse. So I'm gonna go back and make the original allotment and a column for transfers. To get what we actually spent. Then I can just put those two summary pages for both grants behind the ARPA budget pages.
Good.
Or as like a note to see.
But see, this just gives balances. It doesn't say how we spend it. And what they're looking for is how did you spend it?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it not in the story?
It says used to repair.
Is
the
it not in
county
the
sewer-
story in the front of the
It's in the
book?
budget highlight.
Yeah,
Used to repair the county sewer lagoons and turn over ownership and management to the city of Cody and replacing the courthouse HVAC. Additional ARPA funds will be used for crushed gravel, PAL library and community investment.
Okay, but it doesn't tell
But it
us.
doesn't
how-
say
know.
how much.
yeah.
That's all.
Well, because, I mean, we've had this money how long now? So I don't, yeah, I agree with, that's perfect to put it in name and number inside there.
Where the
Yeah.
ARPA stuff is
Yeah.
listed. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I have
think
no problem with that.
that would help.
Yeah.
I think we'll put it in the narrative.
Yeah, we'll still list out what
Okay.
we've done this past year in the,
because
in the
after-
narrative, but
After next year, it'll be
It'll go away.
yeah.
gone,
Okay.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Law enforcement center might take more than a year, but we'll see.
Not that this is a big mount with this going on, but I got Trevor out of me last week and they lost a coil in the law enforcement center. And the company currently has the coil, one, and they don't know how long, it could take, they think 12 weeks to get another one. So Trevor's working nuts jack to see, but we may have to replace $14,000 coil. It might be an emergency. I said, no, I didn't.
No,
say
you
it.
did not.
I did not say it.
Mr. Chairman, I think that kind of qualifies as an emergency in their buildings and grounds budget, and if we need to do that to keep meeting our obligations, then we need to do it. I think he's got it in his budget. It may cut into another project. He's not gonna get done in this budget anyway.
And what was going on is they were keeping having to add this freon, which is very expensive. So,
And unattainable
yes,
anymore. They don't really make things.
so he was supposed to get back with me, I'll check and make sure, but he was supposed to get back with me on Friday.
Okay.
After him and the other Jack looked at it.
You have to answer your phone.
Hmm?
Did you have to answer your phone? They're gonna get back with you and not go camping.
I'll give you my inReach.
No, no.
I'll check the weather next time.
There you go. There you go. Yes, you're not.
You see that snow in Yellowstone tonight and tomorrow?
Well, I slept in 34 degrees that night. It was cold with the wind,
Where were you?
the Beartooth. Anything else? All right. We'll
Recess?
recess till 5 at the Grizzly Hall? Not.
No.
That.
Hal Hart.
Out Hart Mountain. Out Martin Howell.
Yep. Hey,